Could our understanding of spirituality be deeply connected with entities not of this world? And have alien intelligences been manipulating our consciousness throughout history, some with positive intentions and others much more sinister? But what if these alien entities aren't just extraterrestrial, but interdimensional, that is, influencing us from beyond space and time? The whistleblower at the recent congressional hearing suggests that that's a very real possibility.
You have mentioned that there's interdimensional potential.
In terms of multidimensionality, that kind of thing, the framework that I'm familiar with, for example, is something called the holographic principle.
And what if some of these negative entities want to enslave humanity, but not through chains or weapons, but by manipulating our very consciousness, while other positive entities have the exact opposite agenda and want to see us evolve and reach a higher state of consciousness? What if there was a war for the minds of humanity going on right now, and could it be tied to our understanding of spirituality? We're going to explore evidence hidden in ancient texts, stories of the Watchers from the Book of Enoch, the Sumerian legends of Enki and Enlil, stories of individuals who've claimed to encounter entities, and information from an interdimensional entity that claims negative entities are waging a battle of the mind. See, this isn't just about aliens and ancient texts, this is about understanding our place in the universe, our future, and our spiritual evolution. So let's wind back the clock, way back to the origins of our oldest civilizations. Now, we can come across many different cultures that hint at interactions with otherworldly beings. In the Book of Enoch, we hear about encounters with the Watchers, which are angelic entities who supposedly descended to Earth and taught humanity various arts and sciences. Meanwhile, in ancient Indian texts, we find accounts describing celestial beings that are called devas, and flying palaces or chariots known as vimanas. But the question is, if these really are otherworldly visitors, do they have positive or negative intentions for humanity? Well, what if it wasn't that simple? In ancient Sumerian legend, the idea of positive and negative entities is told through a story of two gods, Enki and Enlil. This ancient Mesopotamian story describes Enki, the god of wisdom, knowledge, magic, and water. Now, Enki is described as a friend and protector of humanity, but on the other hand, his half-brother Enlil, the god of winds and storms, was known for his dark nature, and he was responsible for the flood that destroyed all humanity except for one family. Now, hold on, doesn't that sound similar to the God of the Bible who flooded the world? Well, you'll see why soon. But could these two gods represent different factions of extraterrestrial beings? One that is positive, helping humanity evolve and grow, while the other is negative and trying to control and manipulate? Or rather, does it symbolize the struggle between our higher enlightened selves and our shadowy unconscious self? But hold on just a minute. Are we even thinking about aliens right? I mean, what if these beings aren't just from different planets or galaxies, but from different dimensions? I'm talking about beings at such an advanced level of evolution that calling them aliens would be an understatement.
Why is it that you refer to the phenomenon as non-human intelligence? Why deviate from the basis of extraterrestrial life?
I think the phenomenon is very complex, and I like to leave an open mind analytically to specific origin. If it's a traditional extraterrestrial origin or something else that we don't quite understand from either a biological or astrophysics perspective, I just like to keep an open mind on what it could be,
Okay.
Imagine entities of pure energy, pure light, beings of mind, entities that exist in dimensions that are outside of the physical universe, dimensions of mind. And what if, instead of traveling across space like they show in the movies, they could be interacting with our reality from dimensions that we can't see? And what if some of these beings don't want to ensnare or enslave our bodies, but our minds, our souls? And what if others want to see us evolve and grow until we're at the same level as them? See, people from all over the world claim to have direct encounters with beings that they believe to be extraterrestrial, but many of these encounters have a strong spiritual connection. And a lot of people say that they received messages during these encounters, and they talk about understanding the nature of the universe, our place within it, and the spiritual dimensions of existence outside the physical world. Now, isn't it interesting that these messages are very similar to ancient spiritual teachings, philosophies, and even theories in quantum physics? Could these experiences, these messages, actually be a part of an otherworldly guidance system, nudging us towards spiritual and conscious evolution? Well, now we have two ideas here. We see ancient civilizations with similar myths about sky gods, and now modern individuals with similar encounters and messages. And we see a potential connection between aliens and spirituality and consciousness. But the question is why? Why would extraterrestrial beings be interested in our spiritual evolution? Well, think about this. If these beings are from other dimensions, they perceive reality different from human beings that see everything as being separate. And since they understand that everything is interconnected, they know that our evolution is bound up and connected with their evolution. So is it possible that positive entities are trying to guide us towards this understanding to help us evolve not technologically, but spiritually, consciously? And what if negative entities want to convert our consciousness, our way of thinking, to theirs, to put us on their wavelength, so to speak, and integrate our souls, our minds into their network? Well, what if I told you an interdimensional being may have contacted humanity to say that that's exactly what's going on? So this leads us to something known as the Law of One. I first encountered the Law of One while researching secret societies and their claims of being able to contact otherworldly beings. But the Law of One doesn't come from secret societies, but rather a research group. The Law of One is a set of channeled messages from an interdimensional entity that purportedly made contact with a team of individuals in the 1980s known as LL Research. Now, this interdimensional entity calls itself Ra. Ra claims to be the same Ra of ancient Egypt and says that it communicated with the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, trying to transmit what it called the Law of One, which is the understanding that all reality is an interconnected unity. However, this message was unfortunately corrupted by the priests, leading to a twisted interpretation. Ra claims that it made contact with the research team to correct this misinterpretation and to attempt to communicate this message of unity once again. According to Ra, it wants to help humanity evolve towards an understanding of unity and interconnectedness. But Ra also reveals the existence of a group of negative entities known as the Orion group. Who are they? According to Ra, they are a group of negatively oriented entities with the goal of enslaving humanity. But this isn't your typical Hollywood sci-fi scenario with physical warfare. The method here is a lot more insidious and spiritual or conscious. See, the Orion group, Ra explains, wants to manipulate human consciousness to encourage a mindset of power, dominance, and control. By spreading this message, they aim to absorb humanity into their empire, not by physical means, but through humanity accepting their way of thinking, by getting the souls on their wavelength, so to speak. But hold on just a second. Ra claims to be the Egyptian god or being that contacted the Egyptians to spread the message of unity. Ra is a positive entity, but is it possible that a negative entity also contacted humanity to spread its message of dominance and control? Well, here's where things get shocking. Are you ready? Ra reveals that a high-level Orion entity made contact with Earth approximately 3,600 years ago. The name of this entity? Yahweh. Yeah, the very same Yahweh from the Bible, the God of Christianity. Ra claims that Yahweh, the God of Christianity, is a negative Orion entity that sought to spread their philosophy of dominance and control, aiming to ensnare minds through religion. Now, this makes a lot of sense when you consider the fact that the God of the Bible is extremely violent and vindictive. See, I grew up in a strict Christian household, and I'm very familiar with all the evil, hatred, sexism, and violence in the Bible. The God of the Bible drowns the entire world except for one family, has the firstborn children in Egypt killed, accepts a burnt virgin sacrifice, and the list goes on and on. The Bible claims to contain a message of love, but when you actually read it, you realize it's the exact opposite. See, Ra paints a picture of an interdimensional battle for the minds of Earth, but this is a psychological war, with Ra and positive entities trying to spread a message of love and unity, while negative entities are spreading a message of power and control. One side wants humanity to grow and evolve, and the other wants them to be assimilated into their slave collective. So is it possible the God of the Bible, worshipped by millions, is actually an interdimensional entity with a hidden agenda to enslave humanity? Now, that might sound crazy, but it's about to get crazier. What if I told you that there was a secret version of Christianity that said exactly that? Gnosticism was a hidden branch of early Christianity that claimed to hold secret knowledge and the hidden teachings of Jesus Christ. In many of their books, like the Secret Book of John, it's revealed that God isn't the real God at all, that it's actually an evil cosmic entity with an army of dark minions called archons, or rulers, that aim to enslave humanity by trapping our souls and keeping us ignorant of our true spiritual nature. Like Ra's description of Yahweh, Gnosticism describes God as attempting to deceive and control humanity, keeping us submissive and ignorant of our true nature. But here's the twist. In Gnosticism, we're not just helpless victims. We are actually the true God. Like the message of Ra, Gnosticism says that all reality is one, a single divine mind of pure light, and that we are all divine sparks of the true God, of pure light, of pure consciousness, that we're eternal souls trapped in material bodies that forgot what we are. The Gnostics claimed to hold the secret to transcending the material world. And what was that secret? To obtain knowledge or gnosis of our true selves and understand what reality is and embrace our divinity. Now, at this point, you're probably saying, hold on, this is a lot to take in. Is the law of one really true? Well, I'm confident that there are interdimensional beings of a higher consciousness that are interested in our evolution. But is it true in the exact way that the law of one is describing? The truth is, we don't know. The law of one could be made up, or a product of the channeler's unconscious mind. But regardless of whether these accounts are literal truth or not, they have a powerful purpose. That is, they make us question and think and consider the nature of our reality and our place in it. The truth is that reality is complicated. Are there higher interdimensional beings? According to my years of researching hidden knowledge in the nature of reality, my opinion is absolutely. Now, are they interacting in the exact way that the Bible and myths and legends describe? No, those are myths, legends, stories, allegories, metaphors. Most of those stories never happened and are not to be taken literally. Many different people have interpreted them in many different ways. For example, according to Jungian psychology, the evil god of Gnosticism is a metaphor or symbol that represents the ego, and defeating this evil god means transcending the ego and connecting to our true self. So it's likely that religions were formed through wisdom of enlightened humans whose teachings were ultimately misinterpreted or corrupted and manipulated by those hungry for power. In my opinion, beings like the Watchers are less likely to be aliens and more likely to be highly conscious individuals striving to elevate humanity to the next level of consciousness. But it's actually a lot more complicated than that. Could they have been highly conscious souls that chose to incarnate? And is that what falling from heaven represents? And could higher beings be involved through communicating through the unconscious mind? Maybe. We don't know. The truth is that reality is complex, and actually, it could be a blend of all these possibilities. We should remain skeptical and rational, but also open-minded to these possibilities. But here's the thing. Ultimately, the emphasis should not be on arguing if interdimensional beings manipulated things or not. That's a distraction. It should be on our growth as individuals and as a collective. The point is to evolve, and the struggle here isn't physical, but mental. It's not external, it's internal. It's a war of the mind and a battle for consciousness, and whether that comes from negative entities or selfish and power-hungry humans, it doesn't matter. It's about our evolution as eternal beings, our journey towards unity, love, and reason. No matter what, the real battle is within us, and the true challenge exists right here and now, within us and all around us. We have positive and negative forces everywhere, inside us, all around us, and do some of these forces happen to be from interdimensional entities? Maybe. Possibly. We don't know, but it doesn't matter. Whether evil is coming from religious institutions, psychopathic billionaires, or negative entities, we'll continue to evolve and transform ourselves and the world now. The real battle is against ignorance, hatred, and division. It's about how we treat each other and our collective evolution towards unity. The focus shouldn't be on fearing aliens or hoping for some savior from another realm. It's in our hands. We hold the potential for change. We possess the power to create a world that thrives on unity, reason, and love instead of division, hate, and fear. This is about our actions, our choices, and our will to make this world a better place. We're not waiting for a sign from the stars to make changes. We are beings of light, and we are the change right here, right now. Each one of us has a role to play and a contribution to make, and it's time to overcome our fear and create a new world. We are the new beginning. We are neogenians. Now, the channel information in the Law of One is intriguing, and you can hear what it has to say and come to a conclusion yourself. Check out my video or my playlist all about it. If you like what my channel is about, support my work on Patreon or join on YouTube at tier 2 or higher to get access to members-only videos every single week, and a big shout out to everyone who supports.